To test if GitLab Runner is working properly, we'll deploy a simple static website using GitLab CI/CD. Website will be served by Caddy, a modern web server, and it will be running inside a Docker container. Note that I'm creating this directory outside Ansible directory. Everything we did up until now was infrastructure stuff, meaning that you or someone from your DevOps team with SSH access to the server is making changes that will influence server's behavior. This is just some website, and you should think of this directory as if some web developer is doing this on his own laptop. All that he needs is access to GitLab with a registered GitLab runner. Developer creates a website, dockerizes it with the help of Docker Compose and Caddy, and he writes GitLab ci.yml file which tells runner what to do. In the -p directory, first open dockercompose.yml file. The only service is Caddy. In volumes, we have Caddy file, which is Caddy's configuration file, and index.html, which will be our whole website. Caddy listens on port 80, and everything else should be familiar. Save the file, and now open Caddy file also in the -p.com directory. This is everything you need. Caddy listens on port 80. We configure root directory. This is where we mount the index.html file, and we tell Caddy to act as a static file server. Save the file, and now open index.html. This will be the only page this website will have. Save the file and open .env file. Here we list variables we used in Docker Compose. There's a problem here though. Developer might use this .env file locally for development purposes, but this file usually isn't part of the Git repository. Most people have .env file listed in .gitignore. This particular .env file does not hold any secrets, and we could push it to a repository without problems, but we'll do it the proper way. Up until now, whenever we had .env file, it was copied by Ansible via SSH to the appropriate service directory. This time, however, we are not using Ansible, we are using GitLab Runner. As you might have guessed, GitLab Runner has a solution for this. We'll add all these variables from .env file to the project variables, which can be accessed from the pipeline. So in this scenario, we don't actually need this .env file. We will not be running Docker Compose locally on our laptops, but you can imagine a developer with some local setup that does use it. The thing to remember is that Docker Compose will read environment variables. It doesn't matter if they come from .env file or from GitLab CI/CD variables. Save the file and go back to the web browser. We need to create a project before we can configure variables for it. Click the plus icon, new project repository, create blank project. Project name will be d-p. I want it under my namespace. I want it to be private. I don't want README this time, and click create project. Scroll down to the section which says push an existing folder and follow these instructions. First, cd to your directory, then initialize the Git repository, add a remote, add all files, commit, and push. Now we need to add all variables we had in .env file. On the project page, in the sidebar, under settings, click CI/CD, scroll down to variables, click expand, and add all those variables. Container name is d-p.com. Host name is also d-p.com. Docker image is Caddy. Docker image tag is latest. And service is d-p. With variables configured in GitLab, we can now create GitLab ci.yml. Like with everything, this too can get pretty complicated, but we'll keep it simple this time and then expand on it later with the backup checker Python application. All we have here is a so-called stage and a script. Run docker compose down and docker compose up-d. What will actually happen, GitLab runner will clone this repository to the server it is running on, in our case VPS, and then run the container with caddy file and index.html as volumes and with appropriate labels. Save the file, edit, commit it, and push. Back in GitLab, this green checkmark means that pipeline was successful. If you click on this, you will get the details. We only had one stage, deploy, and if you click on it, you will get the logs from the GitLab runner. We can see shell executor, we can see that it is running on vps.dio-p.com, that it cloned the repository, and that it ran docker compose commands. Here it says that the job did succeed, but let's check if website is actually accessible over the internet. Open a new tab, go to dio-p.com, and magic.